What up, guys? Welcome to Base Damage, and this week I'm putting out a couple more videos than usual, just because I'm home for a little bit extra time. But wanted to put out a couple more videos, and one of them was the deck I'm working with on Gurren Lagann. Now, as you see by the title, I say this is a semi-budget Gurren Lagann, mostly because there are quite a couple cards. I'll go over prices at the end of all this, but I don't think I could really truly call this budget unless like prices continue to stay down where they are currently. Because I don't want to post it as a budget deck and then, a couple weeks down the road everything shoots the fuck up like crazy or something, But because Gurren Lagann, I can talk, is a very good set in my personal opinion. I like it, and it's a very popular set. You got to worry more about the popular side of that than than anything, because people are all of a sudden going to pick up stuff. So, but anyway, this is the build that I've been working on. I basically built upon the Trial Deck Plus, so that's why I say it's still kind of budget, but there are a couple cards that I found from the set that just helped this dramatically, and just one gave me a much better finisher, or what I consider like multiple setups for finishers, which is really cool and really good to have option-wise. But yeah, no, let's get right into this. I'll try to explain, various combos, and I'll try to more go over the prices at the very end of this. But if you just want to see what the deck list is and everything, I'll put a link in the description for this on wsdecks.com. Link in the description. Please check it out, and I hope you enjoy. But without further ado, let's get into this. Obviously, it's primarily red. Good chunk of yellow and a little splash of green. It's all like 2 green cards you're about to see right here. But let's dive right into this. Like I said, I don't want to go over price. My brain's like screaming go over prices right now, but I'm like, no, just hold off, brain. I know you want to, but still. Anyway, so let's just dive right into, first off, we have Unexpected Kiss Yoko. We have 2 copies of it. And this card's really good for a plethora of reasons. One, it's a brainstorm. Pay 1, rest 2 of your characters, mill 4 for every climax, search your deck for a Team Gurren. And just double checking, but I want to say every card in here is Team Gurren. So yeah, I just had to double check. Hell, even the Viral right here is Beastman and Team Gurren. So it gets every card in your deck, and that's really good. But also during your turn, your other character in the middle position of your center stage gets plus 500 power, and the ability that it can't be chosen by your opponent's card effects. Admittedly, this is only offensive, but that's fucking amazing, because that's whatever character you have in middle center can't be chosen. Say if you do your early play, level 3, you can't. Your opponent can't choose that for anti-change, which is amazing. There's 2 different options for early play, so stick them in middle center and use that with this, and you're not going to be able to get anti-changed on when your opponent goes to do backups or whatever the fuck. That's amazing. If you're trying to push for game, you can use this and prevent your opponent from using Compass, Darkness Plan, Phone Shy from Bang Dream if they're doing the Yukina build or whatever. Anything that would be like, negative soul, and a whole bunch of stuff like that, unless it's a passive effect. Like there's some characters that just straight say the character across from facing this gets -1 soul. That's a passive, that doesn't target. But there are quite a few effects that just straight target and reduce soul, or just stop damage altogether. Oh, it was Opposition by the Shield was the SA. It was an SAO card, basically almost the same as Darkness Plan, but they can't choose that middle center for a lot of various effects, and I thought that was really, really good, and it's just really awesome to have this. Sorry. Okay, continue on. Beastman Viral. Not only is it a reverser when it becomes reversed by a level 0 or lower opponent, you can put that character on the bottom of your opponent's deck, but it also has an on-play ability where you can pay 1, discard 1 card. When it's placed on stage from hand, if you can pay the cost, choose a character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. And I thought that was really good, and it's been a very, very nice utility card. This next one is Drill Power Lagann. 2 copies of. It's also a level 0 reverser, like just straight up reverser though. No, like send it to the deck or stock or whatever the fuck. But I don't, like, obviously that's a good little extra effect to have, but I prefer the first effect, and that's the main reason I do it, is using this, is when it attacks, choose one of your other Team Daiguren characters, and that character gets 500 power times the number of other Team Daiguren characters you have. It's just really nice to have a little bit of extra buff. I have another level 1 that does basically the same effect, and we'll get to that in a bit, but I just wanted to have a little bit extra in case you just need a little bit extra power for your level 1 combo to be able to go off to make certain that you reverse characters, and just really nice to have that on several different cards. 2 copies of Support Role Yoko. Anybody familiar with SAO knows this card. It's 500 assist in front of, for the characters in front of her, and when a climax is placed on your climax area, choose one of your characters, and that character gets 1,000 power till end of turn. Considering that your level 1 climax combo is a red stock and everyone gets a soul, it doesn't give it extra power, so being able to do that when you play this, when you play that climax, being able to give the extra 1,000 power is really good. I don't know why I fucking stuttered just then. I'm just, my thoughts are racing. Sorry. Okay, because I love this set. I really, really love this set. Anyway. So 2 copies of this, and it's really good. Just that extra power, being able to get over stuff and make certain your combos go off is always amazing. 4 copies of The Girl from the Surface Yoko. It's a free runner. Just at the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can move it to an open position of your center stage. Just really powerful, and I say mandatory 4 of. If you say otherwise, something's wrong. 4 copies of Lagann. It has an act where you rest him and choose one of your Team Daiguren characters, and that character gets 1,500 power until the end of the turn. The extra boost, once again, in case you don't have like a lot of crazy shenanigans, that extra boost is going to help you, whether it's with your level 1 combos, whether it's just with anything in general. That buff is always very nice. So, getting on with this, that was the level 0, so let me do a count for this. That's 8, 10, 16 level 0s. I had to do the math real quick. So, next is level 1, which we'll go ahead and do the addition for this, and that looks like it is 12 level 1s. So first we have 2 copies of Zorthi, is a 105k. When it attacks, same as that level 0 drill power Lagann. When it attacks, choose one of your other Team Daigurens. It gets a 500 buff for each of your other Team Daigurens. So it basically, if you have a full field and you swing with this, give somebody 2k. Just easiest math you can do there. Your level 1 combo. 4 copies of Gurren Lagann, Double Boomerang Spiral. Once again, the climax that it combos with is a red stock and a soul, but keep that in mind because the red stock actually pays for this to start off the combo, which is really nice. His first effect is during your turn, he gets 500 power for each of your other Team Daiguren characters. Good little bit of extra buff considering, once again, whole deck's Team Daiguren, full field. He's a 65 before anything else. You're going to be able to make certain, you're going to want to be able to have that kind of power and the extra buffs and make certain that you get over stuff. Let's do the math. If you use the Support Role Yoko's effects, the 500 bonus would make him a 7,000, and then you play the climax and give him the extra 1,000 power, or at least one of him an extra 1,000 power. He's sitting at a 8,000. Wait, do the math. Yeah, sitting at 8,000 power as a level 1. So that's going to get over a lot of stuff, and if you absolutely have to get over anything bigger than that, the Zorthi's there. So you do that and give like a plus 2k buff, so you're sitting at 10k, like I said, and that's just off of like 1 extra card or 2 extra cards. So really good there. But the climax combo is when it attacks, you can pay a stock. So the climax helps you start that off, make certain that you have the combo type thing. If a card named Dueling with the Moon is in your climax area, you may pay 1 stock. If you do, choose one of your other characters and this card. And those characters get the following ability until end of turn, which is when this card's battle component becomes reversed, you can choose a character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. So on reverse, it gives himself and another character on reverse salvage. 2 salvages for the price of 1 stock is actually really, really awesome. And it makes it so you don't have to commit a whole board of these Gurren Laganns. You could just, throw like 1 or 2 at a time and make it so all of your you could just salvage maybe more copies of this. You can salvage increments at a time, and you'll get a lot of hand back very easily without having to commit a whole board. It also lets you mess around because it gives the abilities on attack, even if the salvage is on reverse, that means, say that you know you're not going to be able to reverse with this. You could give it to a bigger character, like once you got like your level 3 Gurren. If you pull this combo off at like level 2 and you got your level 3 Gurren Lagann out, you can give that to him, and he's going to be big enough he's more than likely going to reverse something. So it's just really, really useful to be able to maintain hand and just keep doing your shenanigans. Once again, this whole deck, watch out for anti-salvage, I'm just saying. Then we have 4 copies of Team Super Galaxy Daiguren's leader, Simon. He's what we refer to in the Weiss community as a Taige clone. He's a 1/0/45, but he gains 500 power for each of your other Team Daiguren characters, making him a constant at full field base 65 in this deck. So that's offensive and defensive, which is why I liked to have him in here. Then 2 copies of Massive Rifle Yoko is a 1/0/1500 backup. So that's it for the level 1s. Next, we're going to the level 2s. And we only have 6 level 2s, but both of these are really, really important. First, we have the Brutal Surface Yoko is a 2/1/55. All of your other Team Daiguren characters get 1,000 power, and that's global. So that's really good extra buff there. But I mostly keep this in here. The 1,000 global is amazing, don't get me wrong, but the second effect for the removal, the spot removal, is really, really powerful. And like I said about the whole watch out for anti-salvage, she says fuck your anti-salvage. I'm just saying. So when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay the cost, which is just discarding 1 card. If you do, choose a cost 0 or lower character on your opponent's backstage and put it into his or her stock. Giving your opponent an extra stock at the cost of 1 extra card from your hand is very, very minimal when it helps you get your combos. If you want to just get rid of an opponent's Brainstormer, if you want to get rid of anti-salvage, or especially, that's probably the biggest thing is, I see my opponent has anti-salvage. Play this, pop it, get it off the field. In certain instances like that, I don't care if my opponent has an extra stock if I can pull off my shit. So that is perfectly fine. And once again, the 1,000 buff is very nice. 4 copies of Gurren, and this is this is the bread and butter of your deck. Between this and the level 0 Lagann, you have a combo. First off, it's a 2/1/1500 power. Don't worry about the power. On play, you get to choose up to 2 copies of this Gurren Lagann from your waiting room and put it on the bottom of your deck. So you can choose any number. But it has a fusion effect, which is if you have this Lagann on field, you can put it underneath this card as a marker. Then you can play this Gurren Lagann from your deck to the field on top of this, and both this and the Lagann become markers for it. Basically stating they go fusion ha, and if you don't get the reference, something's wrong. And you summon this from the deck for free. There's no other cost other than you basically have to use up a little bit of card, like a couple cards from hand. That's whatever. Like playing the Lagann, but you play it, give somebody a buff, and then you play this. Use its effect to make certain that you have copies of this in the deck, and then fuse. Bam, done. So then you go with this effect. It has an effect which we'll go ahead and bounce right into this one, just because it's fresh in our minds, kids. So 4 copies of Combine Gurren Lagann. When it's placed on the stage from your hand or by a fusion effect, which is the Gurren effect right here, you can draw up to 2 cards and then discard 1 card from your hand. So being able to, like I said, you expend a little bit from hand, but this gets it back. So you're good. And then its second ability is when the battle opponent of this becomes reversed, you can pay 1 stock and discard 1 card, deal 1 damage to your opponent. It can be cancelled. So it's just little chips of extra burn here and there, and that may win you the game. I'm just saying, it's very, very awesome. And for the Trident Plus version of this, it was basically your finisher. But now it helps work towards your finisher. If not, sometimes that will just win you the game straight up. Oh, my opponent, I do this, it sticks, my opponent's at 3/6. Pay 1, pitch 1, burn for 1. Okay, good game. But very awesome, and I very much love this card. The whole Combine thing is awesome flavor from the show, but at the same time, it's just a really, really powerful effect for a Trial Deck Plus. So, Also, level 3 wise, we have 2 copies of Yoko. If the number of she's a 3-2-95. Let me go ahead and get that out the way. I keep stuttering. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. She's a 3-2-95. If the number of climax in your waiting room is 2 or less, really easy to pull off, she gets -1 level in hand. Really good. When she's placed on stage from your hand, you can put the top card of your clock in the waiting room. Heal on play. Really good. And then, when this card attacks, choose one of your other characters. So she can't choose herself. And that character gets the following ability until end of turn. It gives another character the same exact effect as this combined Gurren Lagann's second effect, which is pay 1, pitch 1 when the battle opponent becomes reversed to deal 1 damage. So the funny part is, you'd have to pay the cost twice, but you can use this swing with that, give it to this, and you can basically do that effect twice if the opponent becomes reversed. And you have to pay the cost twice, sure, but that's 2 instances of burn 1. That may win you the game, just saying. So, early play can give people on reverse burn, and that's really awesome and really, really useful. Just once again, every single one of these level 3s has some kind of instance of burn, which is amazing. And then lastly, 2 copies of Team Daiguren's leader, Simon. He also is a heal on play. He's a 3-2-95 heal on play. And then, let's see, climax combo with a 1k1 salvage trigger on my back in my heart. So, this is just really awesome. When the battle opponent of this becomes reversed, if you have on my back in my heart in your climax area, you can pay 1, discard 1 card. If you do, deal 4 damage to your opponent. It can be cancelled. This is an honor. It's a last shot Xenon that has to reverse. But it's a fucking last shot Xenon, essentially. Xenon is on attack. Her effect has a little bit more cost to it because it's like 2 stock and pitch 1 card. But hers doesn't have to reverse, so that's the big thing. And that's just really, really fucking awesome that it can potentially do that much damage. There's a lot of buffing effects in here that will help you get big enough to be able to do that. And he has a 3rd effect, but I don't want to go over it because it involves a level 1 Kamina. But there's a level 1 Kamina that's like a double rare and it's really expensive. Since we're basically at the end of the deck, 4 copies of the 1k1 salvage for the Simon, and 4 copies of Dueling with the Moon for the level 1 Gurren Lagann combo. Now we're at the budget part of this. So I hope you enjoyed, but this is where I talk money. The Kamina that this is talking about is a fairly expensive card. Last I checked, it was like at least $12 or $13. It might be a little bit more than that. This Simon actually used to be like $10 a piece, but I got, by the time I was like, oh sure, I'll look into getting these, it was like $5 a piece. So that's actually really, really affordable. There's nothing in this deck, when I picked it up at the time of this recording, nothing in here is over $8. And that was really, really cool. The Yokos were the cards that were about $8 a piece. Now, strangely enough, they used to be up way higher than that, so they actually may be on the decline, but it's Yoko. Yoko's a really popular character from the series. But basically, this has an effect where if you have a level 1 card named Kamina in your memory, you can pull off an effect and do some shenanigans. I don't run that as my plussing engine, even though the Kamina that does that is really awesome and it's a pretty damn good plussing engine. I wanted to go with the cheaper option, which was the level 1 double spiral boomerang. So, once again, this was like $5 a piece when I picked them up. Pretty good, and before they were 10. And to be able to basically have a last shot Xenon is fucking awesome. For $5, do it. I don't care. The Yoko, like I said, was a little bit expensive. Was probably the most expensive card in this deck, straight up. So, if you want to do a more budget option while still having like heal, there's a level 3 Kamina from the Trial Deck Plus that has an on-play heal ability, and he has an effect to be able to give him extra attack and whatnot. So if you want to change that out, or hell, if you just want to go with like 4 copies of this Simon, your preference, do what you want. That way you still have like 4 heals, because you got 4 heals between these. I have 8 level 3s, by the way. You can easily do that and knock off a nice chunk of extra cash. or even if you just want to do like 3 copies or whatever, it's up to you. But I found this to be very, very useful and very, very powerful effects. The drawback, I will completely and totally admit a drawback here before we continue the pricing, because I still have more price stuff to go over. And that is every combo in this deck requires on reverse. So I completely and totally admit that AOT would wreck this deck's shit if its combos were going off. If it had all the bounce back effects, if it had the omnidirectional mobility gears in hand ready to go, it would wreck all of these combos. Which is one reason why, like, I'm glad the Yoko, the level 0, which we'll go to the Yoko now because that was another one of the cards that I was kind of worried about. Because this gives the can't be targeted effect, that helps against a lot of other threats. But the mobility gears don't target your cards, it targets the opponent's cards to be able to move them on field. So I admit that this deck requiring so many on-reverse combos is a big pain in the ass, but hopefully more often than not, you'll have enough cards with those types of effects that your opponent may not be able to stop all of them. Here's hoping. But like I said, with prices, this was one of the other cards that was up for a little bit. This used to be like $8 or $9, but I picked these up at $3 or $4 a piece. So that's actually really good. The Virals as well also used to be up, but I think they're down to about $3 a piece. I could be wrong. So on play salvage, which is really good, and a Brainstormer that packs more effects than most Brainstormers ever have. I completely will pay $4 to get copies of this card. This is really good. The Double Spiral Boomerang was also another card that was I was a little bit worried about picking up at the time. I think it was around $6 or $7 a piece, but I actually found a couple on sale for about $3 to $4 a piece. So more like $3, I think, because I think I also pulled one from a pack. But so for the most part, this deck can be budget. The fact that these Yokos don't really exceed more than $8 is amazing. And that's the most expensive card in the deck right here. 2 copies of that. So that's really all you have to worry about price-wise. Everything else, like half the deck is straight up from the Trial Deck Plus. So you grab 2 copies of that, you're set anyway for a majority of this, and then do your own tweaks as you see fit. Considering that deck also has a Lagann on reverse salvage climax combo as well, you could actually skip this entirely. I just like this effect better. But you could skip this entirely in case you wanted to save up money to grab Yokos or the Simons or whatever. So that's completely and totally up to you. That deck also has a Brainstormer, so you don't even have to get these Yokos if you don't want to, but you can. It's an option. And that's basically a lot of the pricey stuff. Like this was like $1. The Zorthies are also like less than $1. Even these Simons right here were like less than $1. So I thought that was really cool. So there's a lot of really good cheap options that you can put into this deck to make it do what you want it to do. But with that, that's it for the whole budget section of this. Like I said, there's kind of a price tag, but it seems like a lot of stuff has dropped. And it may just be a good time if at the time of this recording and posting of this, if you wanted to get it, by all means, stuff seems pretty decent right now. But keep an eye out for prices because it can fluctuate. But yeah, no, thank y'all for watching. Thank you for stopping by. Please subscribe if you want to. If not, hey, it's all good. Thanks for checking out the channel, supporting this game. And we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.